No, it's not CitizenCon yet. 5 days. 5 days. You monster. Right. Let's go grab my drink. Huh. Huh. Be right back. Ugh. Oh. Nom 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 nom. Close my laptop. I haven't changed. Doesn't matter. I can just look rough for Strem, eh? Oh, thanks, Mantis. For your subs, mate. Your Twitch Prime, yes! It's basically free, and it gives me money. It's the best. So that's... Turn this down. Put this on. See my... Oh, cut off the top of my head, isn't it? That's no go. Let's restore my head. The tilt I want? Yeah, there we go. You can see the tip of my beautiful beaky head. Hope everyone's doing alright. Hope you're all good. Had this disruption to my weekend. There was a wine and cheese party I went to on Saturday. And I drank lots of wine. And I ate some cheese. It was exactly what the party said. I've got some content I'm getting ready for to do before CitizenCon to an extent. I'm talking about potentially, like, is Port Olisar going to implode? And the audio messages are going over them again. Maybe some any news that comes out, any leaks that come out, any of that comes out, I'll do some videos on as well. So on Friday, I'm going up to Manchester. I'm planning to be around in the city centre at Brewdog from midday onwards, and I don't have any plans during that day beyond drinking, chatting, meeting people, and socialising. That is my plan. If you want to say hello, if you want to have a drink, if you want to have a chat about stuff, cool. I'm super easily approachable. I doubt I'll be around with a harem of content creators or people. If I am, then feel free to come and say hello. I'll come and play some games. No, maybe not games. Drinks. Have a drink. Maybe I should bring some board games or card games with me. Like Monica's or something. I might bring some simple card games or something. I can play stuff during the day. But it's sort of like, I'm just going to chill out. Do a little bit of networking, a little bit of socialing. And in the evening, we've got the more official Bar Citizen. I might try and interview people if I get appropriate people that are running big orgs or people that have interest in stuff that are building for Star Citizen or whatever. If you've got anything like that, please come and say hello. I'll love to write it down or record it. I've got some levels of camera, so I've got my GoPro and I've got a gimbal for it, and I've got a microphone for that, and I've got a separate microphone as well, and a dictaphone. So I've got, I think I've got enough to be able to do me all right there. Any donations that I was putting into getting a potentially better camera. I've got a click camera as well that's pretty good. I think I'll probably be all right. I think I'll probably be all right with it all, with what I've got. So, yeah, in the evening or even during the day, if devs are around, I will try and talk to devs. But then, obviously, the next day, and probably the Bar Citizen in the evening on the day before, is where I plan to, interview people, go chatting to people, find out as much as I can. I observe a level of NDA-manship. If devs tell me stuff when they're really drunk that they shouldn't have really told me, I'm less likely to broadcast it around the world. Thank you very much.
Have a drink with you, but I cannot go to CitizenCon this year. So have one on me.
Oh, I'm sorry you can't go, mate. But I'll have one for you. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask a dev, or would like topics or stuff that you'd like me to do there beyond drinking, feel free to drop me a message. On my Discord, there's the thread for questions. There's various YouTube videos that I've got that have got the threads of questions. And you can get me at contact@boardgamer.co.uk. Thank you very much appreciated. I will have a drink on you. I'm looking forward to meeting lots of people as well. That's something I'm quite excited about. Oh, but yes, so we got CitizenCon starting this Saturday. Technically, the anniversary sale and expo is the day afterwards on the 24th. You're right, Eradicator, mate. Hope you're all okay, Houdini. Yes, so close to CitizenCon. It's sort of like, even though it's later this year, it's sort of like just crept up. Will there be a Bar Citizen happening on Manchester on the Saturday night after the presentation? I would expect so, yes. I would expect it would be a semi-official one as well. So I will poke Cameron or Joe Run, or both of them, to see if there's stuff planned. No, I'm not in Manchester yet. I'm in Southampton. Probably as far away as you could get while being on mainland UK from Manchester, I'd say. Probably. However, that is just a simple 35-minute plane journey from me. 5 minutes from my house to the airport, and then from there 35 minutes to Manchester, and then I'm in city centre pretty much ready. Well, pretty close. The Pisces flight ready? Question mark. So in some of the leaks that we've read, that it appears to be that the Pisces is flight ready, or at least flyable enough for a demo. It's got a listing in it in the insurance system. So, you know, when you reclaim your ships, how long it takes to reclaim them, it's got a listing there. So it looks like the Pisces at least works internally, and it's almost certainly going to be a flight ready ship. It also looks like the Pisces has 2 versions, a base and an expedition version. That could just be a skin, though. Let me do this. So that bit of information is from here. Boop, boop. You can see we've got the Pisces C8X, the expedition version, and the C8 listed here. This is some people data mining 3.7.2 and SC leaks, just having random leaks as well. We also can see that the F8 Lightning is listed here as well, but that again could just be for internal testing and stuff as well. Do you maintain articles on my website? They're not the best written articles, but they mean they're there. I get Zin or something to do that.
Looking forward to seeing your CitizenCon coverage. Hype.
Oh, thank you. Oh my god, what's going on? So, right, let's go from bottom to top. GR, you have to drink for me now. This could get dangerous for both your liver and my wallet. Thank you very much, GR. Very much appreciated. I'm not gonna. I don't care if people give me thousands of pounds. I'm not gonna get super wasted while I'm up in Manchester either day. I've been very hungover at a CitizenCon before, because I went out the night before with Super Mac Brothers and people, and Lord Styles, and drank shots directly out of his beard through it. It's probably made me the man I am today. But I was very, very, very dead the next day. So I don't want to get like that. I sort of like, I'm happy to go out and have fun and have mess around and have some horseplay. Oh, I don't even know what that is anymore. But I don't want to be in danger of not being able to read the next day. You know what I mean? But thank you very much. I will drink with that. I'll probably just stick to cider all day and potentially delicious whiskies in the evening, like Talisker and things like that. See what they've got. Mantis, thank you very much. Same boat. Actually, just have a pint of grape juice on me. I will wash down my ridiculous amount of alcohol with some grape juice at some point. And that's good for you, right? Or are you talking about wine? Oh my god, I had wine and cheese. Oh, it was so much. Dalamars, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Looking forward to seeing your CitizenCon coverage. Hey. Well, hopefully I'll be alive. Oh, thank you very much, AR. Zoman says. Lots and lots and lots of cheer. Have a cider at me at CitizenCon. Thanks for the work you do. Well, thank you very much for chucking money. Oh my god. I see. I've got the setup now. I can see. I can see things being. I mean, this is dangerous. I'm like a male thought now. Let's maybe not do that so much. Thank you very much, Star Baron. Very much for the prime sub. Very much appreciated. People just chucking money at me. I'm supposed to be talking about Star Citizen or at least something. Let's go. Thanks for the money. Thanks for the money. Thanks for the money. Have a prune juice on me, a warrior's drink. Oh, a mead, mate. That's a warrior's drink. Drink loads of mead when I was younger. Oh, I was a very difficult teenager. Also did LARP and roleplay and stuff. I'm very... Surprised I'm still not a virgin. What? Wait, what? What's going on? Huh? Right. What else have we got here? I was answering questions. Bored, I still need to send you beer. P.O. Box Prez. People... Actually, I do have a P.O. Box somewhere. Someone actually needs... I'll start putting my P.O. Box on the website or something. I did get one the other day. Anyone that actually needs to send me anything. I need to... How well do I need to vet things that people send me? It's like lumps of their poo. You know, I love you, Bored. Have some poo. Oh, thanks. When will the cons come back to the US? It seems like it's been forever. They rotate it every year so that it's UK, Germany, US. I think it might even be US twice. This is the first time it's been in the UK since 2015. Yeah, I think it's twice in the US. 2016, 2017, 2018. Manchester. Yeah, so it's Frankfurt and then twice in the US. I think, maybe. Are we going to have a dance-off at the Bar Citizen the night before CitizenCon? Oh my god. You don't... Yeah, fuck it, why not? We'll have a dance-off. It's like Step Up, but with middle-aged, unattractive bald people and YouTubers and things. Perfect. So the leaks did suggest that the Pisces would be flight ready immediately in 3.7.2. Suggested, but not confirmed. Although pretty much confirmed. Take all the leaks, even if they're sort of like, yeah, looks like it's gonna happen. I think I was talking to... I had a phone call with CIG the other day because I'm going there as press. And they went, you're it's like, am I considered as press? And you're like, you're on the press list and all that sort of stuff. But you're your own special being, which no one should be able to take that away from you. And it's like, thanks. Because I have an interesting relationship with CIG, which I basically say, feel free to offer me any promotional stuff or anything else that you're going on with other YouTubers or content creators. But if there's anything that you're giving me or prizes or money or anything, I'll have to refuse. At the moment, anyway. But feel free to offer it. Because I'll always make a reasoned decision as long as I can fully disclose anything. So I think traditional sort of like companies, like Bethesda and stuff like that, typically will want to get in bed with as many YouTubers and creators as they can, and they sort of like give them little tidbits like, oh, come to this hotel, let's take you to Gamescom, let's wine and dine you. However, I won't allow that. I can just get you guys to pay for it anyway. Now, that's the other thing, right? I mean, not to be an absolute cock about it, but if I want to fund something to go to an event, I'd rather ask for donations for it. Or say, I'm going to go here with my own money. You guys want to help out? Great. I think that's a better way of doing it, because then you know that, I mean, I might be a shill because it's a game I love, but I'm not a shill because I'm getting paid. I can say what the fuck I want. You know what I mean? Great, yeah? I can't be fired if I'm not working for anyone. And I can't be blacklisted if I've never been on the list in the first place. Come on board, go ahead and get super wasted. A hangover is your liver high-fiving you for a job well done. We trust your courage above... My coverage. Courage? What? Coverage above the wires, and drunk board is Professor board. Oh my god. I do appreciate the trust in my coverage. There's some other good people covering Star Citizen, and there has been for a while. I really like Salty Michael, the artist previously known as Twerk. I like the way he talks about stuff, because he's just... It's his raw emotion and how he feels about it. Unadulterated. Beautiful. Nubifier, because he compresses stuff down really well. You've got Morphologist, who takes it very sort of like focused. He's very good at editing and getting pretty shots and talking about stuff with his sort of like architecture POV. So there's a load of good content creators. There's a huge amount of great streamers as well now. And I think that's only going to grow, sort of more and more content creators that are going to get on board. I think Rexilla and when Star Citizen's got a bit more meat to it, I think Rexilla will be there to the extreme in the future. But it's the Avocado Man himself. How's it going? Yeah, it's going all right, thanks. Always pretty tired. This morning I was supposed to go to play the last round of Gen 7, one of the Crossroads games. It's a board game, it's really cool. Made by the same guys that made Dead of Winter. If anyone's played that. It's the last session we were supposed to play, but one of my mates has got flu, and we went, let's cancel it then. I can't get flu before CitizenCon. He doesn't want to spread the flu around. I was playing with my cat, was one of the reasons I was slightly delayed. So, hey Board, where did you find the daily schedule for the expo? That was from the SC Leaks Discord. They had it posted up there. They're reasonably good with their leaks. I trust most of the guys that post them on there to a degree. I mean, obviously it could have just been a list that's in progress, a work in progress, or not necessarily it could have just been a test or whatever, so bear that in mind. BoredGamer UK, is there a BoredGamer USA too? Yes, and I own that name as well. Can we stay home from CitizenCon and still get conned? Yes! Send your money here. Just send it away. I do need to get the lights on. Okay, so I've got lamps that I can turn on to light me better, okay? But they hurt my eyes, okay? They just really hurt my eyes. I'm really light sensitive. I'm basically some sort of weird mole creature now. A potato. The potatoes like to be in the ground, okay? They don't like sunlight. I think they get green and poisonous. BoredGamer was originally supposed to do board games, and probably will on the second channel at some point, because I love board games. So, Squadron 42 isn't mentioned on the schedule at all for CitizenCon at the moment, and that's interesting to me, because I would have thought they were getting close to where they would want to do an advertising campaign for it. So I think that potentially at this year's CitizenCon, as the last thing they have on the stage, they could start the Squadron 42 sort of like marketing campaign, give a hard release date. I mean, but it's also possible that this year's CitizenCon is nothing about Squadron 42. I mean, it's not listed anywhere. I'm just sort of like a hope, and it makes sense to me that they'd do advertising for it, and they'd have a new trailer, and they'd talk a bit about that. But we'll have to wait and see. Do you think it's better to exchange money at Manchester or before I go? I would have at least some currency on you, even if it's just a little bit, just in case. Do you know what I mean? Thank you very much, Mix, for subscribing on your Prime, and thanks for the much the host. Why have you got weird names? Munyunuku. I thank you very much for loving my board head. It's appreciated. Do you have any magic tricks planned or on-comers during your travels at CitizenCon? What? You want me to do magic tricks? I can do card tricks. I can bring some cards and actually do card tricks. I'm not great with them. I actually know some real sort of like magic-y tricks with either tie or I know some bar magic. Why would you actually want me to do some bar magic? I learned when I was a teenager. Some of them pretty good tricks. How sober will PG be at this year's CitizenCon? I will stay a moderate level of merry, probably throughout the event. I don't want to get pissed. I mean, that's just not. I mean, I'm going to have expensive equipment with me. I'm going to be representing my brand. I want to not lose my notepad. If I lived there, I would have helped you board. I'm a perfectionist. Let's say that. Filmmaker with my own built equipment. Oh, I would have loved that, Michael. If someone had actually, I probably should have asked if someone had an amazing camera they could have brought and go, I love you forever. Thank you very much. Obsolete AI with the 30 bits. Mwah! You get a non-homoerotic kiss. Do we know for a fact yet that the CitizenCon will take place in-game in Area 18? Okay, so in 3.7.2... Did I beg for money for a PC? I will always have donation goals, Father Russell, that represent what your donation is going towards. Because otherwise I've just got no donation goal, and people still donate. So I always say what it's going towards. Makes sense, right? I don't think I've ever begged for donations. I resent that implication. Because I don't need the money. Okay, let's make that clear. You can more than likely to help out, you're more than likely to chuck money at me, but it's extracurricular. It helps, but it's not essential. But yes, my channel has grown massively in the last 4 years or so, and it's all because of the community, and I think because I'm blunt as hell. I will have a good CitizenCon. Thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. But yes, I hope I make lots of people jealous by going. Recording, getting some good interviews. It helps this sort of thing, like studio tours and CitizenCon, and being able to interview people and talk to devs IRL helps influence my channel for about 6 months at least, because I get a load of inside information. I just do. Some stuff I can't obviously talk about, based on whether it's NDA'd or not. But yes, CitizenCon. At least the Anniversary Expo looks to have an in-game area in Area 18. In 3.7.2, the Open PTU patch, you actually spawn as your default spawn location at ArcCorp Area 18, and there's a bus that takes you to the Brevik Convention Center, a new location, which has loads of Anniversary Expo flyers and branding everywhere, and has elevators that take you currently nowhere, but should take you to different levels of the convention center once the expo's on. It could be on the day of CitizenCon that starts, or it might be the day after. But yes, you should spawn in Area 18, I believe. They're being super tight-lipped about the upcoming ships at CitizenCon. Do you have any rumors to share? So, we have seen some listings for vehicles and ships and things. So, the F8 Lightning was listed as a ship that they've got in the insurance system. Doesn't mean it's going to be flyable or on sale or anything. I'm just saying what's seen there, shown there. Let me just turn this down slightly. I do like First Light. It's one of my favourite Pedro songs. What was I talking about? So, the Pisces looks like it's got a couple of variants. The Expedition and the Standard Base, which is the Snub Scout for the Carrack. The Carrack may well be flyable there, or at least flyable enough to be shown off. We're expecting potentially some more Anvil ships as well, although probably a large one if they're going to, because they've merged CitizenCon and the Anniversary Expo all together this year, so it makes sense that they're trying to make as much money as they can. That's what CIG does. I mean, they sell ships to help fund the game. To fund the game. I say help fund, to fund the game, and to fund its continued development. So, sort of bear that in mind. But other than that, we don't really know. Typically, they have an alien ship every year. They could do the Vandal Stinger as an Asperia ship as well. You could see, from some leaks, we know that there's skins for all the Showdown ships, and a Red Rover as well. Can we do an AMA while you're at CitizenCon? Probably not. There is issues with using Wi-Fi in the building. For CitizenCon, it's one of the things they said can't really use Wi-Fi. All the frequencies are already used. It might interfere with our stuff. I can potentially come outside or use my own internet and do some weird stuff while I'm there. So I might stream while I'm at CitizenCon, or the day before, or both. I'll definitely be recording while I'm at CitizenCon. If you want to ask any questions, Chris, or anyone else here, there are threads for it on my Discord and that sort of stuff. Feel free to add to the questions there. I will be finishing off compiling that list probably on Thursday, and then compressing it down and then asking appropriate devs So I will have some interviews with some devs semi-officially, well, it's officially, but I'm going to be quite malleable about it. I've already said to CIG, look, just I'll whatever's happening on the day, just if you need to come and get me, there's someone I can interview, someone I can talk to, come and grab me. I'm happy forever, whoever, basically. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words from people. I got them into Star Citizen and they enjoy my videos. All streamers live near airports. I mean, who doesn't live near an airport nowadays, eh? Question in brackets if you'd like to ask me a question, otherwise I'm not necessarily put out from the crowd. There's so Hercules, the Crusader ships aren't listed on the sales thing. I suspect that's because no Crusader ships are modelled fully yet, enough to be shown at the convention. So bear that in mind. I was hoping we'd see the Mercury Star Runner, but it's a shame we're not. I haven't really heard much about the Nautilus after the concept reveal. Do you think they've halted development after the event, or did they continue it? If it's needed for Squadron 42, they'll continue it, but I know they need it, at the very least, they need to get the mines ready for Squadron 42, so I would expect they're working on parts of it. I've been watching and following your work for a year now. If you were to bet money on how Star Citizen will look in a year from now, by the end of 2020, I think we could see the first stage of static server meshing, which would then allow us to have other star systems potentially by then. Have maybe not full persistence, but semi-persistence with alpha UEC and alpha UEC cells. That's what I'm hoping we get for 3.8, but that is a hope rather than a confirmation of that. It's a potential thing. I mean, they could even get server-side container streaming in 3.8, but I suspect that's a little bit further off still. But they are able to couple some of those bits. So, Vulkan integration is obviously something they might try and get for 2020 as well. So, us on the Discord too, but I'd really like to know if you think there's a chance they'll show off the Apollo. I think it's very unlikely. I think it's possible they've got a grey box working model that's textured, which they might show, just the exterior, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Most exciting CitizenCon moment: carrot reveal or giant sandworm eating Polar and all its stuff. Oh my god, if the sandworm comes along and destroys Polar, that's what people are thinking at the moment, that Polar is going to be destroyed at some sort of in-game demo shown off at CitizenCon. Sport play video games? Yes, I do. Sometimes. Been playing loads of Ratopia lately, and Legends of Runeterra, and Apex Legends, Superliminal. I like games. I'm a little bit slower at first-person shooters than I used to be, which is a shame. Do you think CIG will announce some sort of persistence of items in Alpha UEC, as they've created the assets, hats and shirts that you can buy in game for the Expo? It would be weird to have them wiped for the next patch. Yes, so that would be nice, wouldn't it, if you can buy them and those would persist. They might also just add them to like the store as well, though. So, hey, Bored, with the 890 jump also being an exploration type ship, it seems like the fuel is not truly representing the fuel usage. This is what intended to be in game as of now? Well, as of now, yes, but it's not what they want. Finally, they want to have fuel balanced properly, and some ships a lot more self-sufficient than others. So at the moment, it's sort of like a placeholder. Any news about the lawsuit? Can it stop Star Citizen? I mean, worst possible case, and something terrible happens. Yeah, I suppose it could. It's very unlikely, though. The same way that I'm unlikely to spontaneously combust. But I mean, it's always possible. I mean, people that say that it's entirely impossible would probably be lying. It's very unlikely. So the lawsuit, we'll hear more about it in May or June. I think it's June they've paused to for discovery and that sort of stuff. But Crytek have a very weak case against CIG, in my opinion, and looking at all the sort of like evidence and stuff there. I mean, it's even the court is pretty aware of that as well. So even if Crytek do have some bits that they might be able to push on, it's possible they wouldn't even be the prevailing party, even in that situation, and CIG would get their costs all paid for. So I think it will most certainly go to a settlement at some point. It's just CIG and Crytek posturing around each other for that settlement. But it wouldn't be for much. Can we expect something like a chop shop to sell stolen items? Yes, in the future. That's one of the things they want those scrapyards for. There are scrapyards in game, they just haven't got their full...
Pew pew pew. Board OP
Thanks very much, JP Sandworm. Pew 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 on a bald head indeed. That sounds weird. But yes. They have scrapyards in game at the moment, which you can sort of sell. We can take illegal parcels to and stuff. In the future, that will be sort of like chop shops to sell stolen ships and buy stolen components. That sort of stuff's the idea there. Thank you very much, David Stockton, as well, for that donation from the Supreme Chats. Thank you. What do you think the likelihood they're going to present a new star system or perhaps new gameplay loop? New star system at CitizenCon, I think 99% chance. Now, Pyro, Bam. Maybe not new gameplay loops, but new missions shown at CitizenCon as well. Very likely. It's possible they show a whole new role or something they've got half built they can sort of like showcase. That's very possible. Will you be filming or streaming any scheduled interviews from the con? I'll be at least filming them, yes. I won't be streaming. I won't be streaming interviews. I'll film them. What do you think about the possibility of the Javelin being shown off at the Game Expo? I think that there is certainly a possibility of a Javelin being shown off. I mean, they showed Idris off last year. I probably would expect to see an Idris again. Are you going to ask CIG hard questions at CitizenCon instead of talking about why they don't have basketball in game physics? I mean, I don't think I asked them that anyway. I do ask questions like that. It depends on who I get to talk to. If I get to talk to Aaron or Chris, I will talk about monetization of the game. You can see some of my previous interviews with them. It's sort of like, how do you plan to monetize the game and stuff like that. But it's going to be gameplay-based, development-based, and potentially tech-based if I come to the right people. With the Great Playable State, Star Citizen 3.7.1 is it still a scam? So, Star Citizen was never really a scam in any way, shape, or form. It got this huge amount of scope and feature bloat, and a huge amount more money than they expected. So they just sort of like expanded it out and went, well, we can just increase the scope of the game ridiculously, keep on making ships and develop for as long as we want. It's basically what they want, and then we can try and make the dream game, or we don't have to make it anytime soon. We can just keep on refining, polishing, and getting everything into a perfect state before we move on to the next bit. We can have everything as we want it, because we have a source of money for that. So the downside for that is huge development times. But will we see a great game out of that? Probably. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. Certainly it's never been a scam, though. You can certainly argue that it's mismanaged or inefficient or long or whatever, or it's not going to provide what it says it's going to provide, but I mean, it is a development of a game and never a scam. Will we have more sound improvement or technologies? Yeah, they're constantly working on VoIP, and in-game audio. Famous last words, I'm only going to have one drink tonight. That's not what I said. I'll just drink one type of drink throughout the day. If I just drink cider, even if I drink it all day, I will be fine. Find me in a ditch later. Since there isn't much on the agenda for Squadron 42 during CitizenCon, you think there will be another event in December as leaked last CitizenCon from that Sandy business last year? What? Yeah, oh, I see what you mean. So, yeah, Montoya and Batgirl heard from Sandy or overheard some people talking about a December launch party for Squadron 42. That's a possibility. Maybe they've got something Squadron 42-y planned for later this year. As sort of like a start the... They really, in my opinion, they need to start the marketing campaign for Squadron Body 2 this year. But do you think modularity will be discussed at CitizenCon? Yes, I think it will be discussed. Tony Zorovic might be able to talk about it. I might be able to talk to some devs about it. So we'll see. But modularity, I do think that towards the end of next year, we'll start to see more modularity in ships. I think really we need physicalized components first, and then basically modularity for ships is just a big physicalized component. When will they release the tickets for CitizenCon and Bar Citizen? What do you mean? You can print out your CitizenCon ticket now. I'm not sure if you can print out the Bar Citizen ticket yet. Which exact improvements like textures, AI, etc. will we get that aren't in-game because we don't have server-side object container streaming? Do you have any ideas? Server-side object container streaming doesn't really gate everything in the game. It gates large gameplay area and server efficiency. So that does, I suppose, affect to some extent the streaming in of textures potentially, and the effectiveness of AI when they've got like the servers trying to look after loads of things. But they are just working on all this like simultaneously. What happens to the holographic skill helmet? The skull helmet. It's still, I believe, gonna come later this year. They had to do something with a shader or something that wasn't finished before they put it in game. It would be cool if they allowed us to rent the F8 Lightning in game, yes. For the con. But we'll have to wait and see. Like, it's a ship. Well, I suppose they could let us rent it and fly it briefly. That would cause a lot of hype as well. They basically said it's something that they wouldn't sell outside of the game a while ago. I'm not sure how true that is anymore. I mean, I think they'd happily probably sell it still. Is the current constellation the Mark III? Oh, I see what you mean. Good point. I don't really know. Like, I don't know how they've sort of like defined their reworks for it. You see what I mean? I think it's the Mark II. But, do you know when we will have the last wipe for Alpha? No, neither does CIG yet. You're likely to get persistent Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases in the not too distant future. So 3.8, 3.9, 4.0, somewhere around that would be my expectation. And last wipe for Alpha is when they basically move to using UEC rather than Alpha UEC. Don't know when that's going to be. Thank you very much for watching me from work. Very much appreciated. Will planetary star gravity acceleration assists be modelled? Will maximum speed be fixed? So you're talking about maximum speed is going to have a hard value in Star Citizen. They do some stuff simulated, some stuff physics-based, and other stuff for fun and for balance, or for as part of their flight model, as flawed as it is. So bear that in mind. I don't believe that you will be able to use just catapult around planets and moons and stars for extra speed, or for that sort of like gravity modelling. I do believe that they are going to have them revolving still, and rotating and moving around planets and moons. I think there will be something small with lifetime insurance during the anniversary that's suitable for a lifetime insurance token, but I'm not sure what. Love your video, mate. Is the Anvil Carrack release just a rumour, or is its release on the roadmap? So its release is on the roadmap for 3.8. Some people are suggesting that it might be live and flyable at CitizenCon, which is potentially possible. Last year, the last days of the sale represented all shipyards. I haven't seen anything that mentioned that this year. Do you think they'll do it again? There's the Best in Show day for day 9, but yes, I think that they will have a couple of days where they sell all the ships. At least a couple of days. Do you think there will ever be a jailbroken weapon available to get around armistice zones? like a shiv or something. So it looks like they're having brandishing a weapon and firing a weapon in armistice zones as crimes, but you will be able to pull weapons and fire weapons in armistice zones soon. I do think there might be some like shanks and shivs and stealthier weapons you might be able to use and smuggle in and fire without people seeing you potentially. Do you know how we might profit from Vulkan integration? I don't really know much about anything in APIs. Basically it allows them to scale up effects and qualities of various features for their renderer. So Star Citizen will effectively look better, and it will be more resource efficient. And then they can scale it for low-end systems and high-end systems. So you can make it look fucking amazing in 4K if your system is got enough power to do that. It should be more scalable for GPUs and CPU cores. And obviously Vulkan's hardware neutral, so it doesn't matter whether you're using an AMD card or an NVIDIA card. It doesn't have specific tech built in for like, well, this works significantly better on NVIDIA stuff because they've got all this NVIDIA bull stuff. It's a really, really, really useful API for that. But it's sort of needed to get everything polished and looking great and have Star Citizen looking cutting edge when it's actually released. They even talked about ray tracing recently and said, in 4 to 5 years, yeah, we may well adopt ray tracing into the game. Is the Carrack able to do science, or is another ship required to break down the different data it covers from exploration? We don't know yet. Science covers a huge amount of categories, so to an extent that the Carrack's probably able to save info and data and explore things, and then other ships are able to do something with it. Well, to that extent, yes, it's able to do science to some degree, but there's a huge range of mini roles in science. Mini role. Do you think I'll be able to spawn my Idris M this year? Like last year in the hangar. Oh yeah, I remember seeing them. And perhaps even sneak inside of it and have a look-see. Shield for yours, Honeydew. Yes, Honeydew, maybe. Well, I mean, I say yes, maybe. If they do something wrong and incorrectly put models in the hangar again, you'll be able to. I think you'll be able to see it on the show floor, the Idris this year. Again, probably a little bit more. I paid for JPEGs and got flyable ships. It's a scam. I want my JPEGs. I see what you mean, yeah. You got something flyable. I wanted just pictures. What is the one question you're most hoping to get an answer from CIG at CitizenCon? And does it involve a Greg's pasty? It would depend purely on who I get to talk to. I mean, there's the new high-octane game mode that CIG are putting out. I'd like to know hard dates for things which they can't possibly answer. There's a huge amount of stuff. Rumour, Star Citizen is delayed indefinitely. I mean, it's not delayed indefinitely. I mean, they release every 3 months. It's has no release date. It's got it's indefinitely not having a release date. Definitely. Will there be a type of ship invasion in mid-battle? What? I think some people think that Port Arthur is going to be blown up during CitizenCon, so we'll have to wait and see. Is there a plan of when they will include salvage gameplay and more advanced medical gameplay, other than soon? 4.0 is what it looks like for salvage gameplay. They moved the Medipen stuff and dragging gameplay off the roadmap or slightly further down the roadmap. So I think you'll see that next year as well. Yes, I'm stoked for modularity as well. That's one of the things that got me into Star Citizen and got me buying big ships. The idea of modding those big ships and tweaking them. It's sort of like one of the things I love in Eve, making fittings for ships. I could look at that for hours and hours and hours and use my ship for a fraction of that time. Do you think we'll see the Anvil Crucible ready for flight at CitizenCon? No, I think that is incredibly unlikely. I've not heard anything about the Crucible. I'm not even sure if they're actually working on it at the moment, although they might be. But I have not heard anything about the Crucible.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Love your face. Thanks for your work. Board means I can follow OSC even though I'm very busy.
Thank you very much, Grant Test. Love your face. Thanks for the work board means I can follow Star Citizen even though I'm very busy. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the sub. F7A Mark II for sale. It's unlikely, but again, it's possible. And if they sold those military ships and military variants, they would sell like hotcakes. I think they pissed too many people off. Might they make FOIP work with people with specs and beards? They've been working on that, I know that, to give track IR functionality, but FOIP is unable to look onto my face. So I actually, with my beard, and other people with proper beards, big beards, if you lower your white balance down, or you put a fake top lip on, both of those work. The NPCs in Red Dead Redemption 2 have detailed subsumption with work, rest, and play if followed in the game. When will Star Citizen have similar NPCs that can behave in a similar way? That's a good question. You'll probably be able to hear Tony Zerovic talk about that at CitizenCon. He is doing a panel on simulation stuff and talking about that sort of stuff, like he talked about it last year. They are working on the animations and more better social AI. You'll actually see some more of that over the next few quarters. I don't know when it's going to be to the point where it's bam, and these guys are now following full schedules and basically have lives, but it will be at some point. Seems that there's not much coming out in 3.8 gameplay-wise, since they have delayed the interior of New Babbage. Is this true, or have I missed something? Oh, there's a reasonable amount for 3.8. Let me talk about 3.8 very briefly for you. So we've got all the Microtech clothes and new armors. We've got Planet Microtech. We've got the exterior of New Babbage. There might be some landable area on New Babbage or something like that. They've got the new rest stops and new space stations and married the interiors for that. They've got AI updates with 3D pathfinding, which is pretty big, and some new AI behaviors. They've got some stuff to make the cameras on the ships better. There's some new missions, to rescue the hijacked 8-night jump, expect a load of other missions as well. Some additions to the law system with fines and removing individual crimes off your stuff, and a big tweak of the law system, it seems, as well. There's some new mining items, new mining lasers, they're reworking restricted areas as well. They've got annunciator panels. There's hand-to-hand combat now, which is actually quite an in-depth melee system. They're adding the Prowler, Carrack, and Cutlass Red. We've got the Analyst Arms triple missile launcher and a new ballistic sniper rifle. They've got Planet Tech V4, which is apparently quite a big improvement to planetary stuff, and atmospheric tech improvements as well. They are trying to make 3.8 significantly more playable than previous Star Citizen patches and get rid of some of the long-running bugs and long-running problems. It should be a lot more mainstream and a lot more playable by players without going, oh my fucking god, I've crashed out again. So hopefully that's going to be the case, but I would also expect to see a load more missions and that sort of stuff beside what they've got listed there. Grab this. Is it within your power to turn back time and force the devs to ensure Mercury gets released this CitizenCon? It is not, unfortunately, Jag. I was expecting it to be released and be on the roadmap before the Hercules Starlifter, which doesn't seem to be the case, oddly. The Starlifter is being made ready for, what is it, 4.0 or 4.1? And actually means for 4.0. We don't have 4.0 on the roadmap yet, so I'm not sure. I thought it was 4.1. But for 4.0, that's potentially because they need it for Squadron 42 or something that they're working on. Possible as well that the Mercury's going to land before 4.0 or at the same time, and it just isn't on the roadmap for some reason. What do you think they'll do with the Retaliator? Rework or leave it as is? I think it'll get some light tweaks, and I think they're trying to make it fire more torpedoes or storm more torpedoes or something. Someone said, I think, and that's I can't quite remember. Any idea when we'll get the official anniversary schedule? No. Probably on the day of CitizenCon. On this Saturday. Come on, work your damn Filthy Toaster. Do you think the Carrot will make 3.8? Yeah, I do. Have I had a chance to play Fallen Order yet? I'm not a massive fan of Star Wars games. Guy does is my art for me, one of my good friends, and who runs a stream, who's a part of the BoredGamer brand, I suppose. He's playing it and he really enjoys it. I'm not even asking that, Jason. Hey, Jesus Christ, you monster. All this in-game bartender talk has me thinking drinks and food will be like potions in other games. Bartenders and cooks are synonymous with alchemists in other games. Am I way off? I mean, the player status system is going to track hygiene, food, thirst, and heat and stuff like that. Potentially more in the future. I mean, it already tracks oxygen levels and stamina and things like that now, and damage to your body, and bleeding and debuffs and that sort of stuff. So I would expect. I don't think we'll see buffs from food. I just think we'll see the removal of debuffs with food and drink. Yeah? See what I mean? That's just my thoughts on that. If they are making occupied and unoccupied cargo stations for every planet for all the ships too big to land, do you think they will move L1 and L2 stations close together or to planet or make a new one? I think you'll see some new stations. In some of the leaks we saw, they've got large rest stops and they've got medium rest stops, and I think you'll see cargo depots as well, and like stations that are cross between those two types of thing, and they will allow those large ships or ships that just can't be asked to go and land on a planet's surface to land above the planet and probably at a premium trade goods or get refueled, repaired, and rearmed, and to have other services and facilities there as well. What's the main theory at the moment for the Anvil concept? Recently had a rumour of an Idris-sized capital with 2 railguns, which sounds intriguing. Yeah, some sort of large capital ship is a possibility for the Anvil stuff, just because it's at CitizenCon Anniversary Expo time. It's likely that they want to sell a big ship, because it makes them a lot of money. Was there anything on the roadmap or rumours about actual orbits for planets and moons? They've talked about it for a long time. I believe it's still the plan. I'm sure it's still the plan. They talked about the quantum travel splines that need to be dynamic and change as or be calculated as the planet and moon moves as you're going towards it. So. What are you most looking forward to in 3.8? New missions, new gameplay, playability, and more players coming in. Lots of stuff. Yeah, CIG is pretty quiet about the Crucible. Quiet about Squadron 42 as well. Female NPCs being all NPC like around places, like standing still and turning around in a circle constantly, pushing in front of you at kiosks. When? What? Exactly like women. You'll see more and more updates to social AI from patch to patch. But probably within the next couple of quarters, you'll start to see significantly better social AI on planets, because they're sort of like, there is a reasonable amount of focus on making AI better. Getting those animations in and that sort of stuff. After reading the roadmap, am I correct to understand that NPC crews are almost ready for release? We don't know that for sure. They're working on NPC crews. They're probably significantly further through them for Squadron 42. They are certainly working towards NPC crews and the sort of like AI modules and that sort of stuff. I'm not sure how close they are to release. Heard something about the Hull C being shown off at CitizenCon. Do you think Chris finished the docking part of the code? No, I don't. But I do think that they could show the Hull C and a load of other ships that aren't finished, just the exteriors at the expo, like they did with the Idris last year. Any info on the Taurus? I have no info on the Taurus. It's something I'm very curious about, because I would have thought it would be done already. They could release it at CitizenCon maybe, or the anniversary sale. Who knows? Think there won't be any news on the Drake Corsair? I'd expect between CitizenCon and the end of the year to be updated on most ships, if not during the Anniversary Expo, through like videos going, we're here with this one and we're here with this one, then soon after. In 2015, CIG posted a design note about repair and maintenance, where you'd basically be able to repair a ship via a minigame. Do you think we'll ever see that? So I think in the medium term, you're going to see repair of ships with the multi-tool with the correct attachment. You're going to see the removal and replacing of components and subcomponents and that sort of stuff. So that's going to be the minigame, in my opinion. Do you know what ships will be released in the near future with lifetime insurance? Anything that's entirely new or anything that's part of the big, super big package, anything that's over $1,000? The new ships that they sell at CitizenCon? So probably the lifetime insurance and lifetime insurance token will be the Anvil Pisces. Does VoIP work with Shadow? Yes, you can get VoIP and VoIP working with Shadow. However, I have not done that with 3.6.1 yet. Sorry, 3.7.1 yet. So I do need to test that again. I found it very fiddly when I did it with 3.6. But it does work, and you can get it working. Any recent news on the work around atmosphere in ships, like Freelancer not having air inside? It's a bug. Obviously, I suspect they'll try and get that fixed for 3.8. They did say they wanted to get a load of those long-running bugs done. Will they implement something like the Xbox Kinect so you can get full body motion capture? I doubt it, but you see that sort of stuff with VR chat even. So maybe in the future. Will there be a type of FPS plasma cannon? Yes, I would expect to see that. Most likely with the Vandal, but potentially with some of the other races as well. Oh, how are your stress levels today? Hope you chilled. Yes. So my plan is that typically I keep on researching and keep on reading and doing random stuff with Star Citizen or work or community management or something throughout the day, just constantly. But I'm going to try and start to get up a little bit earlier, a few hours earlier, get all my work done, and then at a certain point, just have a cut-off and I'm done for the day. And I'm not going to look at work, I'm not going to check my emails. I'm not going to check my emails, but I'm just done for the day. And see, and that seems to be de-stressing me significantly. So I'm going to pretend that I'm okay not working after a certain time, so I can watch anime, play with games with my friends, and just chat. You know, like a normal human job. What I do is not a normal human job. I haven't actually watched The Mandalorian yet. I will watch it at some point, though. We don't have a Squadron 42 release date yet. We've got the beta being planned to be feature complete by, was it Q3 2020 at the moment? It's possible they could have a 2020 launch, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm expecting to see something about it at CitizenCon. If not at CitizenCon, then by the end of this year, a Squadron 42 update, a proper one. Sort of like, this is where we are with it. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that Squadron 42 is coming out Q1, Q2, 2021, sort of that time. Hashtag show us your struts. Favorite all-round ship? I mean, I love the Cutlass Black. I love the Saber. I love the Arrow. What else have we got? What else have we got? Do you believe they'll show some Squadron 42 stuff? Yeah, I think it's a possibility. But it would be sort of like at the end. There's nothing on the schedule for Squadron 42 this CitizenCon. So potentially at the keynote they showed something. That would be my expectation. But it's an expectation at this point. Well, it's a wild stab in the dark at this point. I'm just hoping there is. Otherwise, yeah, maybe towards the end of the year. Hey, BG, Do you think the delay of Microtech's moons is an indication that SOX is further away than we'd like or wish? Yes, I do. I literally think it is one of the major things is that SOX is not ready to really expand the gameplay area out much. They've probably got some extra optimizations in there, but you think the carrot could be flyable in 3.8? Yes, I do. But where it is on the roadmap at the moment. You ever think we'll see the return of Zero G Arena thingy? So Sadable, I saw some Sadable posters up around some of the areas around the Perfect Convention Center, I think. So I think at some point we'll potentially see the Sadable Zero G thing that they were talking about. But I'm not sure if it's going to be anytime soon. They are announcing a new high octane game mode at CitizenCon, so hopefully that will be playable there as well. That's what I'm expecting, because there's just after that presentation, there's an hour something special for attendees, which I'm assuming is you can play it there. But that could be Sadable. I'm expecting something more combined armsy or something like that though. But will Star Citizen have stats for hours played and other useful in-game information and logs? I'm not sure to what extent. If they don't, then I'm hoping there will be an API that can grab that information. Come on. Come on, bear with me. My thing for taking questions is being laggy. Come on. Be a good question maker. Been a sub on YouTube for a while. Didn't know you streamed. I do stream. It's just more sort of like interaction streams and chatty chats at the moment. I am planning to play like regularly at some point. It just requires organisation to play, and just talking at people and taking questions is very, very quick and easy for me. So, and people seem to like these sort of streams, and I will do at least one of these a week at the moment. I'm doing two because I like the interaction. It gives me a bit more of a finger on the pulse of what people want to see content-wise and stuff like that as well. It's very useful. What gameplay features and modules will the carrot come playable with, e.g. drones, medical bay, or scanning? Probably just the scanning, and some missions may be associated with more multi-crew type stuff, and sort of like missions that require people to work together. Don't think any extra individual modules of the character, like the drones or the medical bay, will be working. What's more likely to be showcased at CitizenCon? Microtech or Crusader? Microtech. Orison seems quite far away. Yeah, there's in some of the leaks of this much more Microtech centric, but there was a couple of things about Orison leaks with mission givers, Batista, one of the lawful mission givers there. But the video gameplay is from the Squadron 42 vertical slice from 2 years ago, so hopefully Squadron 42 should look significantly better now. Do you think we'll get more destructible environments like trees? And if a ship crashes on a surface, creates a wake from crash blast burning forest? No, I think expect simpler to start with, and then scaled up to what's feasible, sensible, and doable. So I wouldn't expect these amazing wrecked scenes when a ship crashes. I don't think it's going to create a blast crater or anything like that. But expect to see some cool-looking wreckage. Expect to see some like burning bits of the ship and stuff, and maybe some damage to the nearby area, or at least looks like it's damaged. But I wouldn't expect to see like proper craters and like forests leveled or set on fire and things like that. It's possible we get that, some of it, but I don't think so. What could be the biggest surprise at CitizenCon? I don't know, because there wouldn't be a surprise then, would it? Hard release date for Squadron 42. Don't overly tease Jim Boob. He's allowed to have opinions. It's no good. If he thinks the game's a scam and he's like, I hate it, and they've got all the money in the world and they haven't created a game in 1 billion years, that's fine. You can say that. That's cool. I think some people go, look, they've got all this money and they haven't created something yet. Typically, those people haven't been with the project that long or didn't agree with the direction the project's taken. Development of the game's slow. I'm kind of sort of fine with it. Some people aren't. All good. If we are shown a new capital ship at CitizenCon, what would be your favoured manufacturer for it? I don't know. A new capital ship. I mean, I love Drake. We would have got the Kraken coming out. I love Aegis, but people get angry if it's more Aegis capital ships. I mean, Anvil just makes the most sense. Any word on the Orion or the Banner Merchantman? Nope, but it's stuff I plan to ask at CitizenCon. No information on the Constellation Taurus set either, at the moment. Anyway, just joining in, do you think we'll get a chance to see the Javelin during CitizenCon? It has been suggested that the Javelin will be on show potentially on one of the show floors on the Anvil Day, the first day of the anniversary sale, which is the day after CitizenCon, I believe. So potentially you'll be able to see the Javelin. No, that's not the Anvil Day, it's the Aegis Day. When's the Aegis Day? When did I say that? On the Aegis Day. When is the Aegis Day? Bear with me. So I had a mind fart there. Day 6 is the Aegis Day, according to the leaked schedule. Does not mean that's correct. Sorry about that. Yes, I think that potentially you could see that there. I mean, it's a really big ship. Maybe it wouldn't fit. Maybe it's unfeasible. Probably see the Idris at the very least. Hey, is using Shadow a really good choice? So, Shadow, for some people, is going to be great. And other people, it's going to vary by mileage. So it's going to be based on your internet connection and the speed of the connection to an extent, and then your latency with that connection. If you don't have much latency, Shadow's great. If you have loads of latency, Shadow's not appropriate for you. If you've got a terrible disconnecty internet connection, which is really spotty, then Shadow will probably not be good for you. Heard about Delamar being moved out of Stanton soon. What do you think? I think that's a big possibility as soon as we have the next system. But yes, I think that Delamar and Levski will be moved relatively soon out of the Stanton system. You think they'll be cheeky with the Expedition Pisces? Will be called the Lynx? What? No, there's a Lynx Rover, isn't there? What? Do you think we'll be able to set our spawn points to the new R&R stations in 3.8? I think that... So, the large stations are listed with having HABs there. So I think there will at least be locations where you can log out and log back in. I would love to see purchasable HABs or rentable HABs in the game. You want me to do a summary of the chat that I've just done? No. Question for devs at the CitizenCon. Modularity, please ask devs when it's planned to remove balls, cells, and the Avenger Stalker. I've got some questions about modularity like that already, so I'll add that to the list and then compress it down with it. But, will we get cloud cars for Crusader? I would expect to actually see some civilian cars, even if it's just for NPCs in the shorter term at some point. I'd love to see a flyable Idris, eh? Maybe they'll show off some like capital ship battles or something. They could do that in an enclosed environment pretty well. In your latest video, it's not really clear. Will the anniversary sale be 1 day per manufacturer? So you can only buy Carrack on day 1. So there will be one. So we don't 100% know yet. It was just the leaked schedule. But last year, and I assume it's going to be very similar this year, each day has a different day's manufacturer ships on sale. And then at the end, all the ships are on sale for at least a couple of days. I do like show us your struts as a hashtag shite. It's beautiful. Scam Reclaimer Citizen is... Doesn't have a ring to it. Bored what typically happens after CitizenCon. There's a reasonable amount of hype. Some people are writing articles saying that they fucking loved it. Other people are saying it's the worst thing that's ever happened, and that everyone's being scammed. And I go out drinking, and interviewing at the same time devs and people and chattings. And then the next day we should have the anniversary sale if it's not on the same day as CitizenCon. I think it literally is on the 24th because it says Jax is back on the 24th of November, which is the Sunday. But expect potentially straight after CitizenCon a free fly event, or some stuff like that. Ever heard anything about Titan armor in terms of ships being able to deploy, repair, and house Titan armor suits? So I believe the only thing that I heard about Titan armor was that the Retaliator's drop module could house one and recharge one or something. Originally, it was sort of like talked about a while ago. But yes, there will be some, I believe, some drop pod and drop ship things that will at least have modular abilities to recharge and house Titan suits for some form of deployment. I believe that is still the case. I mean, with the mistakes and inefficiency and stuff that CIG's on the past, stuff you don't agree with, just sort of like, I mean, you can hold on to it or whatever, just don't apply it aggressively with every conversation you have with everyone else. Allow it to affect your actions, not necessarily other people's actions. I suppose you're more than welcome to have your opinion about, like, I don't think you should do that, or I don't agree with your thoughts on that. But always remain civil. If you have to not be civil to try and make your point, then it's not a point worth making, in my opinion. At least in this situation where it's talking about a computer game, not talking about like defending your rights as a human, which is something, or defending someone else from harm or something. That's a little bit different, but. Would you ask CIG if they still plan on allowing additional game package to count as NPC crew? So on my list. Is there points to effectively having game packages on more game packages on your account? Does it give you anything more? Does it count as NPC crew? That sort of stuff. Yes, it is on there. Oh, come on. Come on. My little chatty program for... It's just really, really slow. You're the worst. Let me just make sure I have actually added that question in its purest form to my list. What? No. Well, I'll be fine. When is object container streaming coming? We've already got client-side object container streaming. They're working on server-side object container streaming, or server object container streaming, as they call it internally now. We don't know when it's coming. They've been working towards it. There was the hope that it might come out for 3.8. That looks unlikely. They're able to potentially decouple parts of it, though, and have some of the optimizations come in step. Throwing knife, question mark? Probably. Do you see history markers and scavenger hunt stuff? I would expect to see scavenger hunty type missions and missions that help increase your knowledge of the lore and history in game, yeah? Could the Carrack be released at CitizenCon? It's a possibility. I think it's not necessarily highly likely. I mean, the Pisces is very likely. The Carrack being shown off and playable from the CIG, yeah. But whether or not it's going to be in our hands is a different thing. 3.8 definitely, though. Well, probably. What happened to Player Swim? They're working on it. Do you think the current Delamol location will become the new prison location? No, so the prisons... let me show you. So there's Klesher Automated Prison, okay? This looks to me like... Is it Aberdeen? Aberdeen, the cloudy one? To me, it looks like Aberdeen. It's an automated prison with turrets and guards and... Well, I'm not sure it actually has guards beyond automated defences. But there's going to be stuff to do there so that prisoners can pay their debts to society. I'm not sure what security system... I'm not sure if it's actually security people or just security systems. But it's automated, so... It'll be interesting. Interesting to see. Oh, Shite, thank you very much for chucking money at me. Very much appreciated. Like last year, I will be standing at the expo entrance wearing nothing but a top hat. I'll be panhandling all you big boy spenders. Thanks, bud. No worries. Perfect. I hope that means you're not... I hope that don't mean at CitizenCon. I occasionally get groped. I've asked this year, please do not touch me unless we have eye contact and we are talking and you ask or reach out a hand. I have... Why do people touch me? Without asking. It's my appeal to the Star Citizen community. Please don't touch me without permission. I'm not your piece of meat. Fucking hell. Never thought I'd say that. Oh, come on, question, my bobber. Why are you so slow today? I don't know why flicking the screen might help. It just feels like it would. You know what I mean? With the release of Death Stranding, will CIG take some notes about movement and animations? I mean, that sort of stuff does influence them, but I think they are making progress with some pretty solid mocap and that sort of stuff anyway. When you talk about medical gameplay, this AMA, we know it's been a bit delayed with the sort of like the NPC jabby jabs and with the med pens and some of that medical gameplay. And we can talk about it, but there's not that much to talk about yet. Drivable cars, is this car citizen? No, I hate you. When is the Apollo coming online and any more details on the medical gameplay? We don't know. We don't know about when the Apollo is coming online at all. Medical gameplay, they delayed the NPC interaction with med pens. I think they are working on dragging of NPC still, but it's a bit further out now, the medical gameplay. Do you think there will be a Space Marine capital ship from Anvil, like today's amphibious warfare ships? I think we probably will see something from that, like that, from a manufacturer at some point. Anvil would probably be doing it pretty well. Strange question, maybe, but you've built a company from talking to the internet to a brand and more. Where are you going with all this, and what's next for BG? Love to know your side. So I'm planning to hire a girl called Zinnia. I was actually planning to get her this year, but more likely next year now. It just gets super delayed, but she's trying to work out what she wants to do with her pension. And then I'll be able to put out more content, and that content will be of high quality because I'll be able to get better shots and have a lot more time to be able to do a lot of the filming and have someone else as a camera person there, be able to do some more gameplay stuff, be able to do gameplay with them, and getting her as an editor as well, mainly because I'm a terrible editor and she's pretty good, and then she can develop a bit of a style from that. Maybe virtually grope you, it says you may virtually grope me I give you full permission to virtually grope me. You've negotiated virtual groping consent. What a weird question, but no idea. Thanks. Love you, mate. I just want to be able to cover Star Citizen to a high level and then move on to more Star Citizen-y stuff with doing meta and guides and gameplay. I want to do a lot of gameplay stuff that's interesting and fun, and then look at the game from lots of different angles and continue to cover it in the same way that I have, hopefully, for the next, 10 years. I probably want to do other games as well, eventually, or board games or something like that as well. Someone's calling me to moderate someone. Do I... I mean, I don't really like moderating people. Okay. No worries. If you can't remain civil, then fuck off. How about that? You think about that? Maybe think about that. Since the character's below 50% done, how do you suppose it'll get done in time? So each individual task on the roadmap, it can be incredibly small, potentially, or could be incredibly huge. But also I wouldn't expect that percentage done is actually accurate either in that particular circumstance. I do not like unsolicited touching. Thanks, though. Mate, they all look like me. The original pilot looks like me as well. He was dropped as a baby. What do you think about a dropship module for the Avenger Titan? We only got massive dropship so far. Be nice to have something that would fit into an Idris. Sure it would, but I mean, you really got to take shuttles and stuff down for the smaller ships, like the 85X, in my opinion. You can't have ships that are able to do everything. I mean, there's the 890 Jump's got this sort of life raft and stuff like that as well. So I would expect to see some things like that. Did anything happen specifically with the moons or microtech that caused them to get pushed back? I thought they would be far less complicated than the planet. So I can tell you what they said. So the team working on the moons of microtech is spending additional time polishing the version 4 planetary tech, which will debut in 3.8. The additional time will result in these moons being moved to 3.9. So because of the improvements and changes and updates for the planetary tech version 4, they're having to push the moons back. I suspect that it was taking them too long to rebuild or finish them off in the new planetary tech stuff, or with the new planetary tech stuff. Wait, the Lynx rover is real? I thought we'd given up on that. I wouldn't fully give up. I wouldn't fully give up on the Lynx rover. Okay? YouTube is a toxic wasteland. Yes, and I live there. I'm king of the mutants. Ah! You think we'll see the Origin rover this year? So that's an interesting one, because the Anvil rover and the Origin rover are sort of a bit up in the air, aren't they? What about the X1? I don't know what's happened with the X1, to be honest. I'm surprised it hasn't been completed already, but I suppose it's sort of like a weird hovery bike, and they didn't really have the Dragonflies done great originally, so maybe they're waiting for Gravlev to be perfect. Right. Overall, once the Stanton system is complete, what will your favourite planet be? At the moment, I can only talk about, it's Hurston. Hurston's amazing. It's got multiple biomes. It's really cool. It's just the sort of like juxtaposition of having savanna and quite green areas with having the sort of like wasteland areas and the acid areas. I like a nice bit of green on a planet. I mean, the fields of microtech might be pretty cool in the Nordic forests. Maybe. I'll have to wait and see. Is Anvil getting a rover? I've heard both yes and no. Yes, that's also what I've heard, both yes and no. So I would expect eventually yes, but whether it's anything to do with the original rover that we were supposed to be getting. It's just, in the land of the mutants, the egghead is king. And it's true. Mining heads, just for the prospector or for the mining tool as well. So I believe they're just for the prospector at the moment. And mining consumables as well, it looks like. What effect will the new planet tech in 3.8 have, if any? So, I mean, it will definitely directly affect microtech, because it will be being built with that. I suspect it will allow for more assets and more biomes and better blending of those, and more sensible ways of generation and effects, potentially static effects and like static weather, stuff like that, to all be built in and baked in with it. I don't know to what extent it's going to affect other planets that are already in the game, though. I'll have to compare that once we actually see it. It should allow for better resource efficiency and rendering efficiency and less popping in of objects and stuff like that, potentially. I'm not sure if planets need to be built with it to get the full range of its sort of like updates. Calling SOCS, Server Object Container Streaming, SOCS. Where did SOCS go? I was reading about SOCS and then it disappeared off my screen. SOCS works okay, but they may need to rethink client Oh, not Cox. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. We've already got Cox in game. No. Okay. Based on the Squadron 42 footage, can the players play as flight deck crew in the PU later on? I mean, you can, but it'll be a more role-play type thing. What are your thoughts on the Polaris surprise this year? I think it's very unlikely. I think a lot of people would be happy to see the Polaris. And maybe you could see it on the show floor, but I don't think it's going to be flyable or anything. Will we get temperature mechanics with armor? Yes, I believe so. The temperature is going to be something that the player status system tracks. They are going to be environmental hazards, which will require you to, well, will take damage or stamina damage or whatever when you are too cold. So I would expect that some armor, some undersuits and that sort of stuff would give you thermal protection. With the talk about ray tracing in the interview, do you think we'll get more graphical options soon? Currently only low to high options. I think Squadron 42 beta time is the sort of time that you might see the engine get a load more options. They need Vulkan integration, and then they need to have a bit more of a sort of like solid, this is how we're doing the engine, fucking great, perfect. Squadron 42 is going to be like this. This is all built. Now we can have the scalability there. They can have it there as in the options menu. What system do you think will come first? Magnus, Pyro, Terra, and B, what's your favorite? Oh, okay, 2 questions. Pyro comes first, almost certainly. There is a panel at CitizenCon, which is, what the hell was it called? Terra Firma, exploring the continuing evolution of planet tech. So you might see some stuff on Terra there, potentially, even if it's just some of the assets and some of the sort of like buildings and work they've done towards it. But I think Terra's going to be a big one, probably important for Squadron 42, even if it's just for some scenes or something on it. But I don't know when we'll have it in the persistent universe. Could be a way out, a long way out. Like it's big and important in the same way that Earth and Sol is important. So. Has there been any talk about compass headings when landed on planets? They have talked about better coordinate sharing, mapping, 3D maps, some ways of being able to navigate when you're on planets. They are working on something. I do not know what direction they are going in, but they've been working on something. So we are going to be able to share locations and location data at some point with each other and sell that information as well. What will be the price of the carrot? So what price would the carrot be? So the carrot is currently $400. It probably could go up to $550. It's going to be up to $600. Hopefully they'll keep it at the same price one last time. Before it, unless if it's flyable at CitizenCon, then it would probably go straight up to quite a big number. What the hell is Redeemer already? It's one of the older ships and still no signs of it. They are entirely reworking it. It's more of a gunship than a dropship. And we don't know when we're going to see it. Some people are speculating that it might be shown or talked about at CitizenCon. Any idea when the Corsair is coming out for solar power? No, don't know at all. Do you think we will see asteroids like in this video? Yes, they are planning to continuously improve asteroids until they're in a good state. They've been working on asteroids version 2 for the procedure asteroid stuff. Org management, taxes, memberships, fees, org banking, possibly any news or updates. I would expect to see some updates at CitizenCon. And obviously, Orgs 2.0 is one of the pillars of the game, and we need some updates. Can you ask if we can get night vision goggles or night flying or something like that on the helmet mounted site? They did want to do different types of vision mode, but I'm not sure if that was just scope based or helmet based or vehicle based or something. So I can ask about it. Apart from the roadmap things to come, do you think they're hiding a surprise for us at CitizenCon? Yes, almost always. Almost always with every patch there'll be at least a little surprise or something, a little extra they haven't told us about. And stuff like CitizenCon, almost certainly will be some surprises there. Will we see any smaller scale gameplay that would involve fishing and hunting? It gives us a reason to be in forests and such. They want to have animals in game, and I would expect that animals are valuable in some way, whether you capture them, kill them, hunt them. So potentially in the future. I haven't talked too much about that sort of stuff. And they talked about potentially moving animals around with having cargo containers that have their own special atmosphere, so that they can survive between the movement of the planets. Movement in space, you know, off their natural habitats. Right. Hi, Keely. However, hey everyone. I need to dash off in a second because I want to check on my parents, and then I need to check some emails. I need to get a couple of things done, and then I'm done for the day. And I'm just gonna go pretend I'm not gonna be working. I do need to get these CitizenCon questions all together as well, and compiled and written into a sensible format, and send them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send them to CIG and say, look, this is my list of topics and questions that I've got in rough. If there's any extra you think I should add to this, or any that I'm literally not allowed to ask because no one's going to answer me, then can you tell me? Might still ask them if people are drunk, you know what I mean? I would expect to see almost all ships that have ever been sold by CIG, even some of the more limited ones like the Idris, like a Javelins, maybe on sale during the anniversary sale. We maybe get a lore series. Many ships and races have lots of lore. Would be great intro to Star Citizen. I've done some very basic ones for lore previously, taking us up to 2015 of the sort of like in-game lore. So what I mean by that is, what year would that be? 2945. So I've got videos that take us up to 2945, and there's the recent lore and specific lore about some of the aliens isn't covered. Will you read my question? Yes. Do you think the Javelin destroyer is too poorly armed for destroyer class? I think you'll be able to, change its loadout. It's basically a civilian destroyer that you're going to be getting if you buy it, and then you have to load it out yourself. Is the idea. Do you think a fully crewed Gemini has enough firepower to go without an escort? Depends on what engages it. If something wants to engage it, a Gemini... Gemini? What do I think is the Gemini? What's a Gemini? What was I thinking of? Genesis Starliner is what I was thinking of. Gemini, this Starfarer. Starfarer Gemini? I I think you could run a blockade with a Gemini, because it's heavily armoured, but it'd still be dangerous. I mean, it's better than normal Starfarer would be. Do you think the Redeemer will keep its current engine style or have them replaced? I think the Redeemer's being entirely reworked. It won't look that similar to the way it looks now. Hey bro, the Cutlass Red is still on the roadmap scheduled for 3.8 release, but they haven't started working on it yet. Well, I wouldn't say that some of that stuff for 3.8 is accurate. That's all I'm saying. Do you know about character persistence through patches and when it's coming? Not sure when it's coming, so you expect to see some semi-persistent stuff with Alpha UBC and Alpha UBC purchases sticking at some point in the very near future, they've said, basically. So that could be 3.8. We might start to see money and ship purchases carry on for patch to patch, but that's not a confirmation. That is a hope more than anything else. But soon, anyway. Right. Any other questions? Because otherwise I'm going to dash off. Do you think that later on in the game you'll be able to have fun on parties, be able to have full-on parties with AI and players in the 890 jump? With players, yeah. Potentially AI will react to music and social areas. So it's based on how robust they make the AI, how social. And the bartenders will certainly react appropriate to people there. Can you ask them if they can attach the Anniversary Expo Flare to our accounts so we can buy it in-game and... Oh, so... I'll be sure to hang on to it. Yeah, so if they're selling in-game Expo t-shirts, you'd want to be able to keep them. They're selling them in-game with in-game currency. So we'll have to see what they've got planned for that. Maybe if you buy them, then they're just associated with your account permanently. You see what I mean? We could do something like that in the short term. We'll have to wait and see. They have to have something thought out, otherwise they'll just all disappear afterwards. That would be pretty lame. What do you think about the current flight model? It's not finished yet. That's what I think. I think they need to get the rest of the core systems, like physicalized components, physical damage system, and then tweak it so it's appropriate. So at the moment, it's not great. It's not finished. Right. I am going to dash off. But I will find someone else to host. Feel free to ask a couple of questions while I do this, because I will come and answer them. Before I actually go. No, it's me again. Who is actually online? Now we might... We will give Ubernerd some love. Bam. In a minute. So, what else? Anything else we got here? Oh, we've got a couple more. Are you going to ever be able to actually use every single functionality of the ships? Reclaimer, the 315p Caterpillar? Yeah? They're all going to have their gameplay loops built for them in the future. Unless there's like a nuclear war or humanity gets wiped out before then. Well, they add the mechanic for when you get shot or injured, you get downed and need to revive from a medic. So, they want knockdowns, they've got stun damage, they've got like knockout damage and stuff like that now. So the idea is, yes, I believe the plan is if you take a certain amount of damage, you will be knocked down. And you might be able to get yourself back up, or you might be able to medpen yourself to get yourself back up. But some wounds are going to be, you need someone to drag you off, or you need to stabilize you, otherwise you'll effectively bleed out. So I believe there is that planned. Any type of grapple? Well, they want the multi-tool to be able to have the ability to push-pull. So some form of grapple thing, I think. Like I think they showed that with the Enders game Satterball mode that they had a while ago. When will the sale start? I believe either on CitizenCon on the 23rd or on the next day on the 24th. Because the 24th is when technically the anniversary sale begins. Any ideas when we could start to be able to hire NPC crew? I would expect them potentially the end of next year if you're really lucky. AI modules or NPC crew. It depends on a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure how far a lot of this stuff is along, like being actually subsumed into the persistent universe. I mean, they can have NPC crew working now in the persistent universe, but not as hireable entity that would work with players properly. and they'll be able to have it in Squadron 42 much easier than they were able to have it in the persistent universe. So I'm asking questions about AI and that sort of stuff, the NPC crews and things like that at CitizenCon. Yeah, I'm asking about their own HOTAS and peripherals as well. Seeing what they've planned with that. Gladius or Saber? I like the Saber more. Do you think the Prowler will be flyable during CitizenCon? I don't think so. Do you think that in the future we're going to have capital ships that can carry another 50 to 100 meter ship inside? I mean, the Bengal can carry a big ship inside it. It can carry big ships, but not like 100 meter ships. AI turrets when? I think they're probably coming sooner than NPC crews are. You talk about AI modules and things. It depends when they focus on getting the AI ready for them. I would expect to see physicalized components first, and then a couple of other things before that. Again, you could see that at the end of next year, if you're lucky. Right. Let us give Uber Nerd some love. /raid. Bam. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's very much appreciated. I know I just talk random chos. Is it confirmed that the Carrack will hold 1,000 SEU? It's not confirmed, no, and expect it to be tweaked in the Eva Carty phase when it goes live in a patch. You know what I mean? Before it goes live. Any new updates, and when we'll see roadmap updates for 4.1? I would expect to see that probably just after CitizenCon, although you might wait until 3.8's out now. Right. No worries. Thank you very much for joining me. Thanks so much for asking questions. I'm going to CitizenCon on Friday, so I'm going a day early, and I won't be back until sort of like midday Sunday. So that's going to cause a little bit of disruption on my channel. But you'll have some interesting things to keep you busy. Thank you very much. I will have fun at CitizenCon. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask, there's a couple of videos that I've got that specifically are asking for questions for CitizenCon. There's a section on my community tab on YouTube and on my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. There's a CitizenCon thread there if you want to give any questions, and I will ask appropriate devs if I get the chance. If you've got any topics you want me to check out or whatever, please chuck it in there. I will try and stream when I'm there, and we'll definitely be recording interviews and definitely recording stuff while I'm there. If anyone's down the day before or on the day, I'd love to meet up. There is a bar citizen happening from midday on the Friday at Brewdog, Manchester, just by the Impossible venue, just near Keeley's Bar. So like there's a triad of bars around this area. The Impossible venue is where the official bar citizen is going to be held at 6 PM. So a lot of us are planning on trundling on from Brewdog and around that area to the official venue. But if people haven't got tickets for that, then they are welcome to stay within the Brewdog and the other areas there, and we'll probably meet you later, and that sort of stuff. But yes, let's do some gifting. I can gift people things. I love you guys. Thank you very much. You take care. Peace out. Love. All that sort of jazz. Peace.